Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of What's Going On at UVISOA. That stands for the University of the Virgin Islands School of Agriculture. And this is our weekly update based on what's going on with us. And who we are is a combination of the Cooperative Extension Service, the Agriculture Experiment Station, as well as our new academic programs here at the University of the Virgin Islands. And so we basically co-host this program, our communications team, and speak with some of our staff, some of our administrators, sometimes community partners, stakeholders, or current and past clients, as we discuss experiences and activities and so on, that are examples of how we all work together in responding to the needs of our community. So for more information on what we do, you can visit ces.uvi.edu for the Cooperative Extension Service Office. We'll repeat that again at the end of the program. But let's introduce ourselves. So I'm DaraMonifah Cooper, our communication specialist in the area of technology and distance and online learning, as well as...
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Leandra Kent. I am the Public Relations Specialist / Editor for the School of Agriculture. And no, me and Dara did not plan to wear green.
But green's a good color. Green's a great color.
It's pretty cute.
And today we're going to speak with some of our colleagues about an upcoming training that's happening next week. And actually, they're going to share with us a lot more information about it. So first, we're going to let Dr. Petersen introduce himself, and then he will introduce our other two colleagues. But there's a couple things that are happening that we want to mention to you. First, if you missed last week's program, it was basically a recap of all of the episodes, all of the weekly episodes from January till last week. And so you want to just visit our blog, uvisoa.blogspot.com. And again, we'll repeat that later, uvisoa.blogspot.com. And you can get all the text, the videos, the audio, everything, the links from what's going on each week. All right. So also, Leandra, something is happening tomorrow. Could you let them know about that?
Something exciting. They just actually found a new, how should I put this, without spoiling what's happening tomorrow.
Without saying everything, letting everybody in.
I'm gonna just go straight into it. Watch the unveiling of Festival and Midnight on Thursday, April 8th, which is tomorrow between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. on the UVI School of Agriculture's Facebook page. Tomorrow. These are two new sorrels varieties that was developed here at UVI. So we will have Dr. Zimmerman. He will be explaining exactly how long it took, the process, and we will also have some video coverage on that on our Facebook page tomorrow. So you guys look out for that, some exciting news.
I know when people heard festival and all of that, they're thinking party or they're
thinking
music and all of that. So we're speaking about sorrel people. So
that's their names.
Join us tomorrow. And tomorrow, actually, it's not going to be something. Are you going to go Facebook Live? All right.
It's not for the public. That's what we're going to put it on Facebook so you guys can see. But there will be a demonstration of exactly what's happening and about what's going on with these sorrels tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Yes. So the media may attend and take pictures and things like that, but we're going to have Dr. Zimmerman on with us at the end of the month on the 27th. So that's when we'll be able to have him here just like this and share lots of information. So tomorrow we'll find out more. Sorrel, no party, sorrel. Okay. And at the end of the program, we'll get into another training that's coming up next week with Mr. Morton regarding Caribbean healthy homes. So now, let's spend the majority of this program learning about the training that Dr. Petersen, Mr. Washington, and Ms. Forbes are going to now get into. Good afternoon, Dr. Petersen. Welcome back.
Good afternoon, Ms. Cooper and Ms. Kent. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having us on the program. Actually, I always like listening and watching you on the program, both of you. You have such an appealing atmosphere about yourselves. And the public, I'm sure, benefits a lot. And so we thank you for what you do. I'm Lois Petersen. I'm the Assistant Director for the St. Thomas St. John District Office of the Cooperative Extension Service within the School of Agriculture here at UVI. I'm also the SARE Coordinator for the US Virgin Islands. And by SARE, we're speaking about the Sustainable Agriculture Research and Education Program. We'll speak about that in a few minutes, but we're here to promote our training activity, as you said, next week, 12th and 13th of April. And I want to express to the public how we're going to, why we're here, why we're talking about this, and why the training will be taking place. As I mentioned, we represent the SARE program, and the Sustainable Agriculture Research and Education Program is a USDA funded program, specifically by the National Institute of Food and Agriculture. And this is a competitive grants program. It's an outreach program. It's an educational program across the entire US. And the whole purpose and goal of SARE is to advance the development, the promotion of sustainable agricultural systems. And by that we mean systems that are productive, yes, but also systems that are profitable to the farmers and those engaged, systems that are environmentally sensitive and sound, but also systems that are good for the overall general and social well-being of the community in which the systems engage. So that is what we mean by sustainable agriculture. And we in the Virgin Islands are a part of, well, there are 4 regions that SARE is divided into. We're a part of the southern region of SARE, which includes Puerto Rico and other states, of course, within the southern part of the US, like Florida. And the way that our program functions is that although I'm the coordinator, I just don't do this alone. I cannot do this alone. We function along with a team, and that team includes our assistant program assistant, and that is Ms. Vanessa Forbes, who's also on here with us on the program. Ms. Forbes does an excellent job of really getting the program going, keeping it going, and keeping all the parties engaged as we need them to be. We also have an advisory council in the territory. And I mention all these because as a part of the SARE program, we are eligible for applying every year for what we call funding to support a model state program. And within the model state program, we do 2 things. 1, request funding to support positions like Ms. Forbes being on board with us as the program assistant. The second thing that the model state program does is to provide funding once we get approved, to provide funding for 1 year of training activities. And the training is based upon what we recognize to be the needs of the farmers, the needs of the community. And we do so by getting input from farmers, but also we do so by getting input from the advisory council that I just mentioned previously. And that council, of course, includes members of staff from the Cooperative Extension Service. It includes members of staff from the experiment station, but it also includes farmers. So when we identify those needs, we establish a program of education around those needs. One of those needs that has been identified for quite a long time is the need to educate our farmers on organic farming. Why? Because most of our farmers would consider themselves to be organic producers, or at least natural growers of crops and raising livestock. A second reason is that we have not done this kind of training in quite a few years. And the third reason is that even though some farmers think they know what organic farming is all about, that definition can change from farmer to farmer to farmer. So we are speaking about the national standards and what it means to be, from a national perspective, to be an organic farmer. And those regs, the regulations can change slightly from time to time. So every now and then there's really a good need for updating our farmers on what that means. But beyond the farmers, if there are consumers out there who are listening and are interested, we also invite them to be a part of the training. Because many consumers, as I speak to them, they love to buy and they love to consume organic products, but they don't necessarily know what it means, always, what organic is. And so I'm happy to say that we are so pleased that Mr. Washington, Brennan, was happy to join us and deliver a presentation next week, Monday and Tuesday, on the concept of organic farming and the principles. Because in addition to being a liaison with the Southern SARE program, which you speak about as well, Mr. Washington, Brennan, is also an organic farmer and has been so for quite a few years. So we lean on him a whole lot when it comes to asking questions and promoting training in the territory about what organic farming is all about. Before we go to Brennan, I also want to say that the second part of the training next week is going to cover the issue of biological soil amendments of animal origin. This is important because most of our farmers tend to use materials of biological origin, specifically and especially manures, and they need to be aware of how these products engage, the latest research that we have to share with them about how they should use, manage, and implement the use of manures on their farm. So the second part of the training will be focusing on that, and Ms. Vanessa Forbes is going to share a lot more about that with you in the absence of our FDA partners. And I guess I really need to say thank you as well to our two FDA partners who can't be here with us today, but who are really going to be with us next week to deliver training on the concept of biological amendments of soil, of animal origin. That's Dr. David Ingram. And then the third topic that people are going to be gaining information about is the basic concept of the produce rule. And Mr. Trevor Gilbert, who is also with FDA, is going to be speaking about that. So let me say just a few words about the produce rule, and then I'll ask Mr. Washington to offer a few words about his area of organic farming. The produce rule is really a part of the Food Safety Modernization Act. That act was passed and approved, authorized in 2011, and it's all about reducing contamination. It's all about food safety. For the very first time, we are looking at an act that moves the emphasis from responding to incidents of contamination to reducing contamination in the first place. So the produce safety rule, really speaks to how farmers need to grow, not just grow, but harvest, process, handle produce by using minimum standards that are scientifically based. For example, what type of water is allowable to be used in production? What type of water is allowed to be used in washing your produce? And those minimum standards are set by way of testing those water, the water, for example. So that's what the Food Safety Modernization Act is about. That's what the produce safety rule is about, regulating, and FDA will do this, regulating how food is produced, how it's harvested, processed, etc., by setting these minimum standards. And we'll hear more about that next week as well when Mr. Trevor Gilbert speaks. And so having given that overview, I hope I did a good job of the overview, I'm going to ask Mr. Washington now to really speak to one of those three topics, specifically organic farming. Brennan, thanks for joining and thanks for accepting our invitation.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I wish I was down there in person, but that day will come soon. So okay. Say hello to all your listeners out there. So as Louis mentioned, I am the 1890 Land Grant Liaison and Outreach Coordinator for Southern SARE. And Dr. Petersen explained what SARE means. So I won't go back over that, but our primary role is to make grants and support education and outreach around sustainable agriculture. And within sustainable agriculture, obviously we pay a lot of attention to organics. So not only am I associated with the SARE program, but I also own a small farm right above Atlanta, Georgia, called Phoenix Gardens. And my wife and I have been running this farm since 2005. And at the beginning, we said that we weren't going to use a bunch of chemicals. We started practicing that in our home gardens, even before we moved down to Georgia. And we said we wanted to raise the highest quality foods, not only for ourselves, but eventually for the customers that we would be serving. So Dr. Petersen and Ms. Forbes have asked me to give a presentation next week about organic production. And so some of the things I'm going to be covering is what exactly is organic production. Do you have to be certified in order to call yourself organic? And the answer is no, as long as you're following those principles. We'll speak a little bit about what certified naturally grown is. We'll talk about enriching your soil. Soil is the foundation of any agriculture. Be loyal to the soil. And it is, I always look at it, if I take care of my soil will take care of me, and by giving me healthy crops and bountiful crops. So we'll be talking about a lot of soil related issues and how organics plays into it. So we'll be talking about cover cropping. We'll be talking about crop rotations. We'll be talking about what fertilizers and amendments and chemicals you can use under organic standards, because you just can't use any. You can't go out and get a jar of 7 dust and just spray it if you have pests. So I'm going to be discussing all that. I'm going to go for those of you who would like to be truly USDA certified organic. I'll be going through some of the steps that you have to take in order to attain that status. And then I'll talk about the integration of animals into your farm. The FDA, gentleman from the FDA will be coming in to discuss, the safety factors around using manures and biological amendments. I'm just going to be telling you how it fits into the whole system. So I hope that many of you can make it. There'll be a lot of good information to share. And I really think it's going to be a really, really good program.
Thank you, Brennan.
You're welcome, Doctor.
Excellent.
And
I know that, so Brennan is one of the people that Dr. Petersen mentioned that's going to be conducting this training for us here via Zoom. So, it's available to as many people as want to participate via Zoom. But we also have a couple others, and in their absence, in terms of being here right now, Ms. Forbes, from what I understand, has previously taken this training. And so she's going to share with us some of what she learned about the same things that they're going to be sharing with us. Ms. Forbes?
Good afternoon all, and welcome to our little spiel. So today, I took the biological soil amendments of animal origin training in December of 2000. And it was an amazing training for a week-long covering of what you have to understand about all the amendments that contains animal products fall into. And it's actually called, in Florida, lovingly called BISOW. And so biological soil amendments of animal origin, BISOW. And that name was coined and it's kind of stuck, but it basically is telling you how to use manure, how to use fish emulsion, which actually comes from an animal, the guts, the carcass, and the remains of fish once it's finished and it's put into a stew, and it becomes a really good fertilizer. And a lot of our farmers here love to use it. It's sold all over the island, but a lot of people are trying to make their own now. So we're hoping for Dr. Ingram to cover all the FDA guidelines that go along with knowing how to produce your own fertilizers, whether it be compost tea, whether it be worm castings, whether actually, according to Dr. Ingram, I don't think worm castings completely has a covering as yet, but we'll find out that for sure. We here use cattle manure, we use sheep and goat manure, some persons use rabbit manure. So all of those manures, there's a time period and a way to use it. And they're going to be going over the days, the length of days or the length of time for which you can mature it before using it, or what needs to go into it being appropriately aged in order for you to use it on your farm, so that it doesn't cause contamination to, say, your lettuce, or it doesn't cause contamination to any of your crops that you're growing. So that's basically what the biological soil amendments of animal origin is going to be covering, a lot of that information to have us be more aware of what we're using and how it can impact us and our customers.
Okay, so Leandra, you're ready to go out and get some of this stuff going that we are around being with the School of Agriculture. I've always said it's funny because we've been around the School of Agriculture so long, but I don't always get to be in the soil. And so hearing everything that they do and seeing what comes from all of the work is great. But one of these days, we're gonna get
it. So minimum information that they're giving us right now. But I'm just like, wow.
I want to remind Dara, she keeps saying one of these days.
Exactly.
But I also want the public to realize that what Ms. Forbes, Vanessa spoke about is current information, because Ms. Forbes, you mistakenly said you attended in 2000. So it was 2020 is what you meant to say. So what she said is not from 2000, it's current information from 2020.
2020 was a year. I threw myself back 10 years.
No problem, no problem.
Christmas.
Yeah,
No
definitely.
problem.
So Dr. Petersen, how can people, other than us, because we're going to be there, how can other people come and take part in this training?
As a start, we'll give you two options. One of those, if you want to register for the course, and we hope that you will, you can give me a call and leave me a message if I'm not at my desk. That number is 340-693-1083. Again, 340-693-1083. If I'm not at my desk, please leave me your name, telephone number. I'll get back to you. Secondly, you may also email me. And that email address is Louis, L-O-U-I-S .Petersen, P-E-T-E-R-S-E-N @uvi.edu. Again, Louis .Petersen @uvi.edu, and let me know that you're interested. I also want to share with the public, Dara, that for the first 20 people that register for this wonderful training coming up, we have 2 SARE publications that they're going to get free of charge. And as Brennan mentioned, SARE is a wonderful program in outreach and research and education. And one of the many things that SARE does is to produce publications that farmers can use. So one of those texts, and I think you have a copy you can share with the public, you can put it up, is Building Soils for Better Crops. Brennan mentioned that one of the best things you can do as a producer, as a farmer, is to have a healthy soil. There's no good food production without healthy soils, whether you're speaking crop production and pasture production. So this particular text, Building Soils for Better Crops, produced by SARE, is a book that helps healthy, productive soils on your farms. Do you have it that you can show there? Not yet?
I'm waiting for it to open up, but yes, I'll be sharing it.
Okay, right, fine. Okay, so again, the first 20 people who will register, will have a copy of this particular book, Building Soils for Better Crops. It's a book that you will be happy to have and will benefit you for generations. That's the cover of the book, an attractive book, but also lots of good information inside of it. The second book that those first 20 registrants will have a copy of is Organic Transition. That's also a publication by SARE. It's a strategy planning book. It's a book that deals with economics of transitioning from non-organic production to organic production. It's a book that contains lots of samples and templates of the kind of records that one needs to keep, because farming is a business and records have to be kept. And as you transition from non-organic to organic, there are going to be some considerations that you need to keep in mind from an economic perspective. So this book helps you with all of the above. And this is the second of 2 books that you will have as one of the first 20 registrants in our upcoming workshop on organic production and biological soil amendments. Okay.
I've been learning about SARE for maybe like 2 to 3 weeks now.
Yes.
And it really sounds like an amazing opportunity for anybody that's interested. Like it seems so, I don't know. Like it just draws my attention every time I talk about this subject. And I would advise anyone, if you're interested, if you want more information, to reach out to any one of them right now if you have any questions. Because if I was a farmer, which is not too late because I'm only 23.
It's not too late.
It's very not too late for me to become a farmer, but I'm still in the beginning stages of learning more about agriculture. So this is just exciting for me to know about this information, right, Dara?
Yep. And I'm sure there are other people who would say the same.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that comment. I always characterize SARE as being one of the most farmer-friendly programs that I'm aware of when it comes to agriculture and grant opportunities, SARE is a wonderful program that's very friendly to farmers. Okay. And alternatively, I also need to let the public know that they can reach, if they cannot reach me, they can also reach Miss Vanessa Forbes. And her number is 340-692-4054. 340-692-4054. And her email address would be vforbes, F-O-R-B-E-S, at uvi.edu. vforbes, V as in Vanessa, F-O-R-B-E-S, at uvi.edu. Okay.
Yes, and I'm putting all that information in Facebook as well for those watching and those who will be watching later on. There's a couple people out here saying hello to you all. JC Duncan, Clemon Lewis, Kimberly Gift. Hi, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Spread the word so that more people can take
Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for joining.
Take part.
Another thought that came to mind when it comes to the Food Safety Modernization Act is that this particular new initiative as of 2011, like I said, is one that puts more onus on the farmer than before. Yeah, the theme that we're using is that safety begins on the farm, not off the farm. So if you want to have a safe food supply, we need to begin at the farm level. So that's what this does. Prevent contamination from an early stage by setting, like I said, those minimum standards and practices that farmers need to adhere to, not just in production, but even in the harvesting, the processing, the handling, the holding, everything. So it's a wonderful opportunity. And I also want to make sure I let the public listening to know that every single farmer within the US is responsible for being aware and for adhering to the new Food Safety Modernization Act. Every single one. There is no excuse and no reason not to know. And I think the last thing I want to say about this is that the monitoring aspect of this will be done by FDA, like I said, the Food and Drug Administration. And reasonably so, they will be monitoring, of course, the bigger farms, the real big farms, because they're the ones who impact the most people. Because of the size of all farms, there will not be monitoring taking place. However, so we are considered to be exempt. We're considered to be exempt because our farmers make less than that threshold of, I think, $25,000 or more for the year. But the point really is this: although we are going to be exempt, we're only exempt from monitoring. If there happens to be an outbreak in the territory of the USVI, an outbreak of food contamination, and that outbreak is pointing to a farm as being the source of that contamination, then our exemption will be revoked. It will be revoked, and monitoring can begin at any time until such time as FDA feels that a problem has been rectified. So it's something for all of us to be aware of and not take very lightly. Food contamination, food safety is a really, really big priority, and it does begin on the farm.
Dr. Pete, one of the things that I would love our viewers to realize too is if we decide, like again, and we are able to meet in person, we've actually done a few of these training, the on-site readiness reviews, where we've gone around to farms and we've helped farmers to see if they are doing what is needed to keep themselves and their farms clear of contamination. And there are opportunities where we actually had the produce safety training, where was it, November or December of last year?
Yes.
Yeah, so we will be doing these again, hopefully very soon. And so keep an ear out for when we are doing it again so that you can sign up. It's virtual now that we're in this pandemic situation. So just log on and learn the information. Again, we may be exempt, but not knowing the information is not an excuse. Not knowing the information is not an excuse, because if you to get contamination on your farm, you are going to be held responsible. So log on whenever we put out the announcement that we're having the produce safety rule trainings again. Learn as much as you possibly can. If you have questions, if you're concerned about something that is possibly on your farm, Dr. Petersen and myself are here. We are both trained in produce safety rules, and we will try our best to answer you as best as we can. And if we don't have the information, we have a team of PSA persons we can reach out to and get the information for you. So please.
Thank you, Ms. Forbes. That's an excellent comment that you made. And one of the beautiful things about being a part of SARE is that we are part of a really wonderful network of professional staff who can deliver at an instant, the kind of expertise that you need. It's also part of the advantage of being a part of the land grant system, because again, whether through SARE or through the land grant system, we are just at our fingertips. We have experts in any topic you can think of ready to assist us or deliver presentations, as will be done next week with Brennan and with our FDA partners. So it's a wonderful, wonderful partnership to be a part of.
So if we could just repeat the information for next week, when the training will be, who's going to be presenting, and again, lastly, how they can get in contact.
Okay. The training will be on April 12th and 13th, next week, Monday and Tuesday, starting at, is it 9 or 9:30?
Not 100% sure. I think it's 9:30
a.m. until 2:30 in the afternoon. I think it's 9:30. But we do have a lunch break between 12 and 1 p.m. Persons who are interested need to call or to write, and at that particular point in time, we'll send you all that you need to know to register for the course in terms of your form and your Zoom link. Again, to make contact with us, you may call me at area code 340-693-1083, or email me at Louis, L-O-U-I-S, .Petersen, P-E-T-E-R-S-E-N, @uvi.edu. If you give us a call or give us an email connection, we'll get you set up and registered for the training, as well as the first 20 people will get a free copy of 2 books, Organic Transition, as well as Building Soils for Better Crops, which are 2 SARE publications. And you may also call Ms. Forbes. Again, her number is 340-692-4054.
All right. Thank you all so much. We look forward to this training, and I'm sure the community will as well once they find out that it's happening, because many people are interested, especially now, in doing some organic farming and making sure that they're doing the right things with their soil. So yes. For those watching,
and again, I don't want people out there who might be consumers to think that they can't be a part of this as well. If you're a producer, definitely you need to be a part of this. But if you're a consumer who's interested in knowing what organics is all about, what you've been buying or thinking about, you are also welcome to join us on the Zoom training if you are a consumer and not necessarily a producer.
Perfect.
Well, flyer is soon to come, right, Dara?
Say that again. What's
flyer is soon to come, so look out for it for visual information.
And that leads to our next to last part that we usually get to. But before I get to that, I want to thank you in terms of how you can find all of our information online with our rebranding of the UVI School of Agriculture online. But I want to thank you all first before we get to those specifics and remind people how to find us. Thank you, Dr. Petersen. Thank you, Brennan Washington. Thank you, Vanessa Forbes. And again, we look forward to joining you all with this training next week. And I'll repeat the information one last time. I'm looking at the flyer. Next week, Monday and Tuesday, April 12th and 13th, 9:30 to 3 p.m. with the 12 to 1 lunch break. This is Atlantic Standard Time. I know that changed recently, Eastern and all this. We don't change time here in the Virgin Islands. So it's 9:30 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. Caribbean time. And we look forward to the organic farming and biological soil amendments. The webinar, it's a 2-part webinar. Again, those 2 days, April 2nd and April 12th and 13th. Mr. Brennan Washington, Dr. David Ingram, and Mr. Trevor Gilbert will be joining us to help to teach us this information. I didn't hear a cost.
That's because there is no cost to the participants.
Oh boy,
Believe it or not, Believe it or not, there's no cost to the participants. And you will walk away with invaluable information at no cost to you, except to sit at your computer and listen in.
Learn.
I love the word free. I love that.
You love the word free, huh?
Mhm.
$3.
Serious value.
And to add value to that, you got 2 books. If you're one of the first 20.
20.
Free.
Only for if you sign up, but make sure that you come. Don't just sign
That's correct. That's correct.
sign up and come, because then
We've had some of that. You're correct.
information from Mr. Brennan Washington sitting over there in my right corner.
Thank
Brennan,
you, Vanessa.
anything else you want to share as we roll out?
No, I think it's going to be an exciting training, and I hope to see a lot of Virgin Island farmers there. I had the pleasure of meeting a lot of your farmers when I was down there. So I think this will be some information that could be really impactful for them.
Excellent, excellent. So
Probably
thank
even
you
teach me
again
a few
for joining
things
us.
as we do the presentation. So
Yes, thank you again for joining us.
Dara, thank you. Leandra, thank you. Vanessa, Brennan, thank you all.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Washington. Everybody else, have a good day today.
thank you.
And feel free to stay on as we wrap up, or if you got to go, we know you have a million things to do. Not a problem, just be a few minutes. So what else is going to be happening at the UVI School of Agriculture next week? On Thursday, April 15th, there will be a webinar on Caribbean healthy homes. Okay, and that's a specific branded title there. So it's not just something that we made up. And there are also some books there that people will be able to get. There are also 2 books. This is a popular number today with 2 books that people are going to get for free with lots of information. But this particular webinar, it provides homeowners, families, and the community in general, or even people who at their office spaces, with information regarding practices that you can do inside the home or buildings that promote healthier and safer environments. So very, very important. One of the examples people tend to bring up a lot is using something other than bleach. Anybody have an idea what the something could be other than bleach for cleaning and different things? I have no prizes for you, but if somebody can tell me.
Not participating, there's no prizes. I'm just playing.
Vinegar.
Vinegar, that's one of them examples. So
Hydrogen peroxide.
hydrogen peroxide. Right. So Dale Morton, next week, Thursday, April 15th, from 1 to 3 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, is going to be giving that training as well. And so on next week's program, he will be our featured guest, and you'll be able to learn more about it from him. But it will be Thursday, April 15th, 1 to 3 p.m. And you can give him a call for more information on that, 340-693-1086. So 693-1086. And his email address is dmorton@uvi.edu. So that's DMORTON@uvi.edu. There's a lot that's going on at UVISOA, right? UVI School of Agriculture has a whole lot going on at all times as we develop not only some of these outreach programs that come from within the Cooperative Extension Service Office, but all the research that's being done, like the new SARE, well, you'll find out more tomorrow, that's happening, and Dr. Zimmerman with the Agricultural Experiment Station, and the development of the courses, the curriculum, and the programs for the academic programs. There are 2 certificates right now that are already existing that people are registering for, but there's more coming. The associates, more certificates. I think there's like what, 6 more certificates?
Right. Yeah.
There's so much that's coming. Okay, so stay with us. And as your interest builds, the school will continue to build from the certificate, the associate program, the bachelor's program, and who knows what's next. So stay with us, hear what's going on at UVI School of Agriculture, UVISOA, and that's how you can find us online, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, UVISOA. So if you previously were looking at us on UVI CES as our handle, now look for UVISOA. So we're rebranding, shiny new, UVISOA. So UVI School of Agriculture is where you look for online. And I don't know. I don't know. There's just so much. So I will see you all. Well, I'm going to be watching Leandra tomorrow with Dr. Zimmerman.
Oh, yes, I'll be here.
Sometime between 10 to 12. Sometime between.
Yeah, sometime around there, I'll be on the field with him, just
Okay.
getting some insight, a close look at these new sorrel varieties that he discovered. Like, this is just amazing. I can't wait to do this tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, the CS publications.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
But there's more. Well, wait.
Go to our UVI bookstores for any of those publications that Leandra is holding up. Go ahead and tell them the names of them, Leandra.
Okay, we have the native recipes, and we have traditional medicinal plants of St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John. And we have the tropical fruits of the U.S. Virgin Islands and the nutritional values. All of these are for sale at the UVI campus bookstore on St. Croix and St. Thomas. St. Croix, you can also get it at Undercover Bookstore, and St. Thomas, you can get it at Bookstore 340, and the long title, Tropical Creations Gallery and Boutique and Cultural Center.
And that's on me. We have fun with that one. Yeah, I know. So there's always a lot. Visit our website, ces.uvi.edu. We're with the Cooperative Extension Service Office of the University of the Virgin Islands School of Agriculture, embracing our land-grant mission of providing innovative and cutting-edge research, teaching, and extension programs that respond to the educational, social, economic, and environmental needs of the citizens of the Virgin Islands and the Caribbean region. That's what we do. UVISOA. We'll see you all next week, Wednesday at 3, but you'll get a peek sometime between 10 and 12. So check us out on Facebook. If you're not already following our page, please go ahead and follow it so you can be updated when new things come in. There's always something new happening at the UVI School of Agriculture. Thank you so much. And
thanks for joining.
Okay.